This is Ebony Thompson, Tourism and Marketing Director for the Calhoun County Chamber of Commerce. Welcome into the Community Connection TV show.
Folks, to the great episode of the Community Connection TV show this week. And we are here with some very special guests. They are actually, before we introduce them, I'm going to tell you what they do. They are the authors of Through It All, God Was There. You guys have been on the show with us before, and we want to have you on again. Don't be a stranger, and we will definitely want to have you back. And this is Miss Cindy and Sherri Williams. They are not sisters, but they are sisters, so spiritual sisters. So.
There you go.
But anyway, they just happen to share the same last name. So, but is there any relations down the line anywhere?
No, that we know of.
Kind of like Smith. There's a lot of Williams around, isn't there?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Now, my name Franks. There's not that many.
Right.
My girls, when they say Franks, they know who they're talking about. Right. All the teachers know them by name.
Right.
But when you go on Google it, there's thousands of them.
Wow.
There's actually several hundred Mark Franks, and my wife said, "Oh my gosh, how can there be more than one?" So that scared her. So anyway, but folks, this is a great book. We want to make sure you know before this episode's over how to get this book, because this book has been a great inspiration for a lot of folks near and far. So just kind of starting out, I want to ask you guys a couple questions, and if that's okay. So I'd like to ask y'all, actually, what inspired you to write a book? Okay. Who wants to go with that one?
Well, I'll begin with that one, and then let Sherri tag in on here. Actually, Sherri and I are two of the 19 writers of this book. This is a book that's a collection of stories. And what inspired us was we belonged to this group of Christian women called Women of God.
Women of God.
And every time we had a meeting, we would have different speakers, and we would go on retreats and have different speakers and different guests. And many of us would share some of our stories of our life. And the comment always was, "You need to write that down."
Right.
Other people might want to hear that. Mm-hmm. You should write a book. Y'all should write a book. So finally, we decided, well, maybe we should write our stories down and share them with everyone, so that other people would be encouraged by the things that we had overcome in our life.
Exactly. Well, I tell you, there's a lot of great things in there, and last time you were here, we showed some little descriptions of that, pictures of that, stuff like that. So we will definitely show some more graphics of some different stories. I think you're going to, before the end of the show, I think you're going to share a little short story with us and let everybody hear a little bit about that.
Yeah. Sure.
Let me ask you this. You kind of answered a little bit of that, but who are those 19 authors of the book? Kind of help us understand what kind of people they are, what kind of authors they are.
Just everyday people, teachers, housewives, just everyday people.
Just women of God.
Just women of God. Okay. Love the Lord, love Jesus.
Yeah.
And want to share our stories and testimonies. That's who we are.
That's awesome. Let me ask you, and you kind of touched on this a little bit too, but what was your roles in this book? What part did you play in this?
Okay, well, Sherri and I were the editors.
Okay.
So everyone sent their stories to us, and we did our best at trying to make them grammatically correct. We're both school teachers by profession.
So it better be perfect now.
Well, it wasn't perfect.
No,
we even found some more errors, but we hope everyone will forgive any errors that they happen to see in there. And then we collected them, we put them in order, and then went about trying to get this book published.
And that brings up a good question. You said put them in order.
Yes.
How did you come up with an order?
Well,
for the different stories?
It took a lot. As we were going, sifting through all the stories, we said, how can we put these in order? Which is more important than the other? And the answer was none of them are more than important than the other.
Right.
So we thought, you know what we can do? We can just put them in chronological order
There you go.
as to time when they began.
There
And
you
one of
go.
our first stories happened in the 40s, I
Right.
believe. And then it went, the stories at the end were the most recent that
Most recent.
happened. And it was just amazing when we did put them in order, they just flow one to the other. So
Right.
it worked really, really
Well,
well.
that's a great plan because that way the book, actually in order like that, it makes more relevant the further in you get, but you can still reflect back to the older stories, and plus you probably see an idea of when the older stories were there of how it affected that person's life now.
Absolutely.
So, I'm sure that was great. Now, let me ask you this. Who can join, or first of all, let's don't get ahead. What is the WOG? Some people call it WOG.
Yes.
But what is the Women of God group?
Okay.
The Women of God group is just a group of believers who love Jesus. We meet the third Saturday at Word Alive in their connection room. at
Word
11
Alive is
o'clock.
located just off I-20 in
Right.
Coldwater, Alabama.
They are gracious enough to let us meet there every month. So they don't charge us. So that's wonderful. It's wonderful that they support our ministry like that. And
Just a group of women from many different denominations.
Right,
That's good.
absolutely.
We
I couldn't
all
even
have
think
our,
anymore.
we all have our own home church.
We
We're
do.
all very active in our own home church. So this just gives you another support group of women to support each other and love each other
Right.
and minister to each other.
That's awesome.
And anyone can join. It is
Anyone.
not exclusive of anyone. Anybody that would like to come join us, we would love to have you.
That's great. You guys take note of that, because some of you may want to check out what they're about and visit them or look them up. Now, do you guys have a website?
Have a
for the book?
Facebook page.
Facebook page. Okay, and we're going to put that Facebook page up for everybody on what to type in to find them. So just be sure to check that out, and you can connect in with them through Facebook,
Right.
and just like people do with our show. And
the book has a Facebook page also.
okay, great. So the Women of God have a page, and the
Yes.
book has a page. So
Yes.
we're going to make sure we got both of those, the information for both of those up for everybody. And just another quick note to ask you about. Have either, you kind of touched on something when you said a lot of the women there are from different denominations and different backgrounds. Of course, I know at Word Alive, that's the way that church is there too. Have either of you ever heard of the Tres Dias movement? My wife and I are both a part of that. And basically, I know there's some things that's connected to that you have heard of. Have you ever heard of the Emmaus Walk?
Yes.
The Emmaus Walk, of course, is Methodist-based
Right.
group of weekend retreats, and it's basically the Catholics have the Cristeo movement, and it's all the same. I mean, as far as the same purpose, and they're actually intertwined. The Tres Dias is actually a Spanish birth version of the Emmaus, which I don't know which one was first,
Right.
but the Tres Dias movement was brought to the United States back in the 60s. Began in New York,
Wow.
and then spread all over the country. And it's so connected to the Emmaus Walk and the Cristeo Walk that if you are a member of, if you've ever went through the weekend as a person who just goes through the camping weekend and everything, experiences that experience, then you can work any of them. So a Cristeo person can work a Tres Dias, and a Tres Dias can work Cristeo, and a Emmaus person can work Tres Dias. So it's just an intertwined family.
Very good.
And the whole purpose of that brings us to the close of that story I was going to tell you. You said interdenominational, and that's what Tres Dias is. It's an interdenominational, just a quick plug for Tres Dias,
Yeah.
but it's an interdenominational group of believers, Christian believers, who have the whole purpose, the whole sole drive and purpose for the weekend is to bring Christians. Of course, some people do get saved and become believers there, but it's really intended for believers to be strengthened. So they invite people who are believers, and some people thought they were a believer, and they get in that environment and realize, oh my gosh, I didn't even know the Lord. And then they realize, oh, I need to be saved. I need a relationship, not just a knowledge of He exists. I need to know Him.
Amen.
So that's what that's about. And they have people there from the Anglican Church, Church of Christ, Baptist, Church of God, Pentecostal, Assembly of God, you name it. Just several different groups of denomination, and everybody's working together.
That's good.
And that alone touched me when I saw that, so that was amazing. And I know you guys get a taste of that too in the women's group with so many churches represented, just everybody just putting the name down and putting Christ's name up.
Amen.
Just coming together. I know you love that.
That's right.
Well, y'all, we're going to talk a little bit more when we come back from our break. We're going to ask you a couple more questions to be thinking about, and we're going to kind of ask you how you got your book published, a little bit of story about that, and where the title came from, things like that. So we'll be right back with you guys. So hang out with us, don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back, folks. We've got at the end of the show, we've got a special musician spotlight, so stay tuned for that. And we hope you enjoy that. In the meantime, we've got a special sponsor break. We're going to give you a elite business spotlight. So stay tuned. Our sponsors are very important to us because they help us bring on guests like these, local guests, local sponsors, local connections, people with interesting hobbies, and so on. So we appreciate all of our sponsors for helping us to stay on the air and bring great guests to you, and also to help us put charity ads on for free. And so we just thank all of our sponsors for that, and we ask you to thank our sponsors too. When you see them, do business with them and tell them you saw them here. So folks, just stay tuned. We'll be right back, and stay connected.
Opportunity is knocking. We're ERA King Real Estate. To buy or sell real estate today, you need solutions that will pay. Opportunity is knocking at your door. It's what you're looking for. Opportunity is knocking. We're ERA King Real Estate.
Welcome in to Creation Salon, located at 600 Quintard Avenue, Anniston, Alabama. Great services for men and women. Haircuts, highlights, hair extensions, special occasion hair and makeup. Be sure to visit Creation Salon for your nail spa and your pedicure needs. Also, tanning services. So be sure to visit Creations Salon. We are proud to introduce to you Radioactive, located in Pelham since 1985. Radioactive strives to build their reputation on honesty and integrity by offering high-quality products and knowledgeable service. They offer a comprehensive range of products and professional installation for your home theater and automotive needs. Radioactive stands behind their work and has the reputation to back it up. Give them a call for all of your home theater, vinyl wrap, and car stereo needs. Call 205-663-1859. Folks, we appreciate you for staying tuned to another great episode of the Community Connection TV show. And we have some local authors with us today, in case you're just now tuning in. And we have Miss Cindy and Miss Sherri Williams, and they're not sisters, they're not related, but they're spiritual sisters, but they just have the same last name. So we just want to introduce them to you folks if you're just tuning in there, and we want to share a little bit about a book that they've put together. And we'll just let you tell them the name of the book again and tell them a little bit about the way everything's put together and how how somebody might, start reading it.
Okay.
And then we'll let you share something from the book.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds
All right.
good.
Thank you. The name of our book is Through It All, God Was There, Our Stories and Our Journeys by Women of God. And this book is a book that you can begin at the very first page and read it straight through, or you can just pick out certain stories that you think might apply to you and your life. So it's something that you can just take 3 to 5 minutes every morning and read a little bit, or read it through just like a novel.
Yeah, great.
So we think that's a very unique characteristic of our book. And Sherri's going to share a story that she wrote. She is our most published author. She has more stories in this book than anyone does.
I have 9.
9 stories. And this is a story that happened to her, and it's just a wonderful, blessed story, and she has done a great job writing it. So we'd like for her to share that with you today.
All right, it's called The Best Christmas Gift Ever, a lesson on the secret of God's love by Sherri Williams. As a first grade teacher for 18 years, I've received many different kinds of gifts on many different occasions. I have a whole box of You're My Favorite Teacher Christmas ornaments, a jewelry box full of costume jewelry, a cupboard full of teacher coffee mugs, bookshelves full of favorite teacher books and bookmarks, and drawers full of love notes and beautifully drawn pictures. I have been blessed with an outpouring of love over the years. I am overwhelmed at the thought of it. This particular story happened in December 1988 during my second year of teaching first grade. The memory of this event will be etched in my mind for as long as I live. That year was the year of the painted sweatshirts and beautiful big hair bows. I had quite a few parents in my class that year that were really good at making those things, and I'd already received many painted t-shirts, sweatshirts, and hair bows earlier in the year. The day of our Christmas party began with the children coming into the room, and it seemed like each one came bearing a gift. We placed the gifts under the tree to await the grand opening of their gifts to me at the Christmas party. Finally, party time arrived. They all opened their little gifts from me, and then I began to open their gifts to me. As I began to do this, all of the children gathered around me to watch with great excitement. After a few minutes, I noticed that Abby quietly left the circle of children. I watched as she went straight to her desk. I noticed that she got her little purse and began to dig in it. Then I got lost in all the hoopla of opening my gifts, and quite frankly, I lost track of what she was doing. I did not even see her when she returned to the circle of children. After I finished opening all my gifts, the children began to make their way back to their seats. They began to play with the toys they had received from their friends and from me. That is, all except Abby. When I looked down at her, she flashed a big grin at me, then held out her little hand and said, "Merry Christmas, Miss Williams. I love you so much." It was then that she unfolded that precious little hand to unveil her priceless gift. When I saw her gift, tears began to stream down my cheeks. You see, Abby's parents had divorced that year. She and her sister were living with their daddy. You know, sometimes daddies forget things like Christmas gifts for a teacher, or maybe that just wasn't in his budget that year. At any rate, his precious daughter gave me the most wonderful Christmas gift I have ever received. When she went to her desk that day and started digging in her little purse, she came up with some priceless treasures for her teacher. She gave me all she had, for in her little hand she held out 7 pennies and a red starburst candy. My heart was so filled with unspeakable joy. I learned a very important lesson from a 6-year-old child that day. She taught me the secret of Christmas, and for that matter, love. She had understood the true meaning more than I had. For you see, just like God gave us His very best gift when He had given His only begotten Son to us, Jesus, all wrapped up in swaddling clothes and lying in a manger, Abby also gave me the very best gift she had, 7 pennies and a red starburst candy. Symbolically speaking, the number 7 is the number of perfection, and the color red stands for the precious blood of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I don't think this was a coincidence. I think this was God speaking to me and teaching me an important lesson on love through Abby that day. I'm still very humbled by her priceless gift to this day. I went home after school that day and placed those 7 pennies and that red starburst candy in a small plastic bag. I tied a gold ribbon around the top of the bag and placed a Christmas ornament hook in the bag. I hung that ornament on my tree to remind me of Abby and her precious gift of love. It's hard to believe that happened 21 years ago. The red Starburst candy has long since melted and wrapped itself around those 7 pennies. However, to this day, in the year 2010, that little bag of love is still the most and first Christmas ornament I hang on my Christmas tree every year. When visitors in my home ask about it, I gladly share my story about Abby, and I still cry when I tell it. Abby is now 27 years old and a nurse. Her sister now teaches with me at the elementary school they attended. Last school year, she came to the school to visit with her sister. She came to see me for a few minutes. She says I'll always be her favorite teacher and that I made such an impact on her life. I wonder if she has any clue how much of an impact she has made on mine. Thank you, Abby, for your precious gift of love. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. John 3:16. And here's my little precious gift of love that Abby gave me that Christmas. And there's pictures all throughout our book that go with every story.
Wow, that's great, y'all. That's a great story to share, and of course you wrote that back in 2010.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be meaningful on through the ages. So that's great. Well, folks, we appreciate you for staying tuned and stay with us. You guys hang out with us. We'll be right back to talk a little bit more about the book, and we're going to go to our another special business spotlight along with our musician spotlight. So stay tuned, folks, and stay connected. Planning an event? Be sure to call Top Notch Events and Rentals. They have all that you need for all of your wedding and special rental needs. Inflatable bounce houses, slides and vending, lighting and draperies. Don't forget about their fantastic line of formal wear. That's Top Notch Events and Rentals, located in Anniston, Alabama, 239-4950.
Saw Dad last night. I'm worried.
Yeah, me too. Ever since his surgery, he can't get around like he used to.
My friend Ellen called Home Helpers to care for her parents. They love their caregiver. She helps them live independently at home.
For over a decade, Home Helpers has been making life easier for those in need. Visit Home Helpers for more information and to receive your free care packet.
Welcome in to Creations Salon, located at 600 Quintard Avenue, Anniston, Alabama. Great services for men and women. Haircuts, highlights, hair extensions, special occasion hair and makeup. Be sure to visit Creation Salon for your nail spa and your pedicure needs. Also tanning services. So be sure to visit Creations Salon.
In a tiny town where the biggest things were the water tower and a young boy's dreams, I believed in a little house of simple means where doing without was a common theme. I believed on a dried up square of worthless earth we scratched our living out in the dirt. And I believed in a small town church where I first heard the choir sing and the preacher's words. I believe, oh I believe. I learned the closer that I looked within, the farther I could see. And I really didn't have much of a choice, so I believe. In that big old city of steel and glass, where a man dies young if you don't think fast, I believe. On the streets where truth is hard to find, and what's in it for me is the bottom line, I believe. In a place where people don't seem to care, and they turn their backs like you're not there, I believe. Anything goes, it usually does. I held my breath and I bit my tongue, and I believe, oh I believe. I learned the closer that I look looked within, the farther I could see, and I really didn't have much of a choice. So I believe in a higher place, in a deeper faith, in a power that's stronger than you or me. I When they put that granite on my grave, all I want that stone to say is, I believe. And where I'm from and the woman I love, the job I did and my God above, I believe. I Opportunity is knocking. We're ERA King Real Estate. To buy or sell real estate today, you need solutions that will pay. Opportunity is knocking at your door. It's what you're looking for. Opportunity is knocking. We're ERA King Real Estate.
We're on our third portion of our show. So we are here with Miss Cindy Williams and Sherri Williams, and they are the authors of the great book. And the book is actually Through It All, God Was There. We've had them on the show before. We're glad to have them on again because the book is still good. It always will be.
Still good.
And so there's a lot more people out there that haven't heard your story, and we're just glad to share that with them. And just a last couple of things just to ask you guys. I mean, I've got some more questions that we could go over, but just in your own words, for the last 3 minutes of our show, share with the folks out there what you'd like for them to know about the book, about what you're doing, and what you'd like for them to know about it.
Let me tell you where to get it first.
Yes,
How about that?
that'd be great.
You can go on Amazon.com and get our book. Our publisher is Sleepy Town Press.
Sleepy Town Press.
Sleepy Town Press. They did a
Local?
great job. Local
Now, aren't
publisher.
they out of? They're local.
They're local. They're local. Find Christian people there too. Or you can pick it up at Cotton's Antiques in Oxford, Deja Vu in Jacksonville, and Word Alive, I believe, also has it at their bookstore. So that's some places that you could get our book.
One last thing to maybe leave everybody with, what are some comments that you have heard concerning the book?
One comment I heard today, I teach adults, and one of my students had gotten one of our books, and she came in and she says, "I just can't put your book down."
That's what they say.
As soon as I get, every time I take a break from studying, I break to read your book. And my daughter was there this weekend, and my daughter said, "Mom, I can't wait till you finish that book because I want to read it next."
Right.
So that's really good. Another comment that I heard very recently was from a girl who lost her father about 3 years ago, and she says, "I've had such a hard time dealing with that, and after reading your book, I was finally able to come to grips with that loss." And that was the reason that we wrote our book, was for healing and encouragement for others going through difficult times.
That's great. That's great. Have you heard anything
Same
about
thing.
Same?
Just when are you going to do the next one?
Yeah.
Is the question.
When are y'all going to do that? We'll have you
about
when you get ready. We'll have you on again.
That's right.
Okay? So,
We've got about 175 books left.
Okay.
Of this, so
well, folks, we need 175 people to log on Facebook, Amazon.com, or their website and get the book,
That's
and then
right.
they'll get the next one out.
that's right.
There are 82 stories in here.
82.
And the books are $15 each.
That's right.
Wow,
82
that's
stories.
great. Well, folks, we appreciate them. We appreciate y'all for taking time out to come and be with us.
Thank you for
and
joining us.
come back and be with us again.
Okay.
And you're always welcome on our show, as you know. And well, folks, we appreciate you for tuning in again, and tell a friend about our show. Tell a friend if you got family and friends on Cable One Channel 2 every Thursday night, 7 p.m. And if you're on Facebook viewing our show, we just encourage you to, just below our link that you're watching us on, click that little button that says SHARE, share, and it'll go out to all your friends, and then they can view it too and enjoy it. So we appreciate y'all. And just remember one thing, folks, stay connected.
Amen.